Oh, what's up?
Yo, it's lit out here. Italia, PyCon Italia, PyCon Italia, PyCon Italia, PyCon Italia. Yeah, yo. Yeah. PyCon Italia, PyCon Italia, PyCon Italia, PyCon Italia. Ah! It's lit. Hello, welcome to the Rabbit Hole, the Definitive Developers Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Nunez. Our co-host today,
Dave Anderson.
And today, we got another interview.
Yeah, this is the last in a 3-part PyCon Italia series.
Yeah, Dave was out there a couple months ago, or many months ago, rather, to Florence, Italy, where he gave his talk in PyCon Italia. Choose Your Own Adventure, right? That was the name?
Choose Your Own Adventure with Client Web Choose Your Own Adventure for Client Web Services with GraphQL. It was a mouthful.
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, definitely.
But it was fun.
Yeah, you scored a couple of interviews, which is great. Great content. But the one up next is with someone by the name of Patrick Arminio. For those who don't know, Patrick is the chairperson for PyCon Italia. How did you manage to sit down with the chairperson of PyCon Italia?
We had the GraphQL connection. And also Patrick is a super chill guy. Like he's very relaxed. Yeah, so Patrick gave a talk on GraphQL and Python, which I saw on the schedule, and I was like, oh no, there's 2 GraphQL talks.
Right.
This guy's my rival.
Yeah.
But his talk was in Italian, which unfortunately I couldn't go and check it out because I don't speak Italian.
Yeah.
But most of the talks were in English, so I decided I wanted to pick his brain and talk with him and try and get an interview about, what his experience with GraphQL is and see, where those overlaps were between, what pain points we have and what he has.
Yeah, because I imagine like you guys are using the same frameworks, but like there's different uses and different like domains where you would use GraphQL in a completely different language that you would talk about GraphQL in.
Yeah, like he was talking more about like message passing and like adding things to queues and stuff like that. And that's not really a use case that we're using right now. But like a lot of the common core problems that he was facing, like how do I do permissions and authentication and authorization for this service where it's so flexible you can really do pretty much anything with it. And it was like, oh, okay. This is my person. Like we're both feeling this pain.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So let's get that rolling.
Cool.
We'll dive right into the interview. This is Patrick Arminio.
Cool. Get him the tape.
Enjoy.
Hi, fine, and thanks for hosting me in this podcast.
Awesome. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, yeah, I'm a full-stack developer. I work in an agency in London, and I mainly do backend stuff right now, and I'm focusing on Python and GraphQL for my work and also personal projects.
Yeah.
And I'm also I'm the chair of PyCon Italy, so we organize this conference here in Florence every year.
Nice.
And we are also working on building the current website using modern technologies like, I said, GraphQL and React for the front end.
Cool. That's good to like put that in practice. So what excites you right now about GraphQL, or what problems are you most interested in?
So I'm most interested in the permission authentication. I think authentication is mostly solved right now because you can use headers, so you can send tokens as a feed.
Yeah, it's pretty agnostic to whatever approach you need.
Permission is quite interesting, especially if you use frameworks like Django, where you already have loads of stuff made for you, like all the groups, permissions on actions, on single models.
Right.
And yeah, something that I'd like to work on the Python libraries to actually have an integration for those fields, for those Django features.
Like to build it into the graphene.
Yeah, I think it should be built in because it makes sense to have it like as a feature of the library.
Yeah,
it's something that comes up like quite often.
Yeah, it seems like that's something that we're struggling with right now too, because like with so much flexibility that you get with GraphQL, which I guess like just to give context for anyone who doesn't really fully aware of it, it's a query language for your API. So you can get any fields, any model pretty easily by default. So
yeah, you can also do like with mutation. You can do changes on the server, and it's quite powerful because it's not related to entities, so you can do like a mutation that doesn't send a notification to a specific user, for example.
Right.
And if you have like this power on your API, you need to make sure that no one is using them inappropriately.
Yeah.
So that's where permission comes into play.
Right. And especially for like some fields that might be like sensitive data.
Yeah,
like,
especially for that. For example, I think some of the ideas we have for our conference website is, for example, the admin can see the email of the users, but not the normal users. They cannot see.
Right. You can't list out the email address and home address of all of the users.
Yeah, since like GraphQL, it's easy to introspect the API. We need to make sure that only if you're logged in as a admin user, you can see that field, or if you're logged in as a normal user, that field is always none.
So you're talking about like really aggressively even hiding the fields so that it wouldn't even be part of the schema, or where it would just return no value?
So potentially, yes, we can hide the field. I'm not sure, since this project is going to be open source, we're probably not going to bother about hiding the field.
Right.
It's going to be there. But maybe that's something that could be interesting for someone that's got an API that it's going to be used internally and externally. And that's what I think GitHub does. So their GraphQL API is being used internally and externally, so it's public and private at the same time.
Oh, so like the public API, the V4 API, which is pretty awesome. Like if you haven't checked it out, like you should definitely go to their website and play with it. They have graphical setup and everything. But so you're saying that like their public API is a like subset of what fields might be possible on the private API.
Yes. So they eventually have a single code base that works for internal and external, which is quite amazing because you have to maintain only one project, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a challenging thing, especially since like a lot of what the user sees might be like restricted by their context. Like, if, for example, like on a purchasing site, I might not be able to see the orders of another user, but I definitely want to see my own orders. And maybe different users might have different abilities to like see certain information on those orders. Have you looked into like kind of like precompiled queries or like? Oh
yeah, that's something actually. Yeah, I always forget about that. It's quite interesting because you can do interesting stuff with that. So you can optimize, for example, the front end. So you only send an ID. So
so it's like less overhead and maybe also a little bit more security because it's locked down.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it depends if you lock down the backend as well. So you can only say, I only accept the following queries. So by IDs, and you can also use get if it's just a query, it's not a mutation. So you can use caching on it.
Oh,
so
you can
that's true. Varnish on top of it.
Yeah,
it's quite nice.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought, actually.
It's something that Facebook is doing, and they are doing it for Instagram for sure, because I was playing with the API.
Oh, really?
They basically send an ID, like a query parameter.
Okay.
And this is how they use it.
Yeah, I know Twitter is doing a similar thing where you need to like submit your query. Like even for the public API, you need to submit your query, and it validates your query, and then it gives you an ID back. So then you need to go and ask for that query by the ID.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So it's like a separate service even to submit a query.
That's nice. I should see it.
Yeah. Although I guess like the challenge with that is that like Facebook and Twitter are both like really large companies, and the kind of extra overhead of like setting up the pipelines and stuff is challenging. It definitely would be something that I would love to see like more in open source, like maybe as a part of the Graphene Django view or something like that.
So there was someone coming up with this. They wanted this feature in the library, but actually it seems to be really easy to set up. So, for example, if you have your Django view, you can check if there is a get parameter. If there is one, check if it's an ID, and then go fetch the query from the file system database, and then you can send that query to Graphene.
Right.
But yeah, it would be nice to have him implemented in like
some kind of standardized way.
Yeah.
But that's right. Yeah, I guess it isn't too hard. The only thing is you just need to make sure that your front-end queries are in sync with
definitely.
the back
And also, I mean, if it's implemented like as a feature of the library, more people are going to use it because not everyone knows about this.
Right.
If it's in the documentation, it's going to be.
It seems like there's a lot of like kind of unique things that people are like discovering right now. If you like watch the videos from the GraphQL conferences and stuff.
Yeah. Also, the data loaders is not used much. I think I haven't used it yet.
They're pretty great actually. Like so for our particular application, we basically made a really robust web page as our first one. So it's pretty much like a spreadsheet where there's like all kinds of financial information and quantities and calculations happening. And so in the end, like you might have like 40,000 or like 400,000 records that are coming over the GraphQL API. And at that point, you kind of hit a wall and you need to use data loaders. So I don't know if you saw Piero's talk on Friday, but maybe if they recorded it, you could check it out. But there's a blog post that he put up as well. And I think he explains the data loaders pretty well. Like that's one of the areas that I think Graphene like could be a little bit stronger, like the documentation for data loaders is just a little too brief. It's like they exist. Then what?
Yeah.
What's next for PyCon Italia and any other conferences?
So, we have some big plans for next year because it's going to be the 10th edition. So, we're trying to do something nice. It's definitely going to be in Florence again, but it's really hard to find another venue that cooks so well and that we know.
In this particular hotel here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely, we're going to work on the website because that's like a key priority now.
I guess that'll be really nice also for the 10th anniversary to have
definitely,
a nice shiny website.
We have like a few people that want to help out, but we need someone also to organize the work because with so many people, it's really difficult to spread out work.
Someone's got to be the project manager.
Yeah, hopefully,
the product manager.
Maybe I found a guy that's
right. Yeah,
because he was saying, "Oh, maybe we should do Kanban and stuff." Do you want to do it? Yes. That may be interesting.
That's good. Just apply some peer pressure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for next conferences, I'm actually going to a few of them next 2 months. So I'm going to Google I/O next May.
Where's
next
that
month?
one?
Google I/O.
Uriah? What is it?
Google I/O.
Google I/O.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, it's in Mountain View.
Cool.
And I'm going to DjangoCon Europe. Actually, I'm giving a talk about GraphQL.
Oh, great.
A bit scary.
Are you coming out to PyCon in the States at all? Or?
No, I would like to come, but
okay.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Yeah, I decided I was going to go, but it's in Cleveland, so it's like not an exciting place, but should be fun.
Yeah, I think one of the PyCon US was in Canada once. It was interesting. Then I'm going to CSS and JSConf in Berlin.
Nice.
So I've been doing mainly backend comp, so some front-end would be really helpful, I guess.
Yeah, like a refreshing change of pace.
Yeah, and they also care a lot about accessibility and diversity, so it's going to be interesting. Hopefully I'm going to get some ideas for our conference to increase the diversity.
Nice. Okay. Yeah, I guess that helps too, being an organizer. You probably have a good excuse to like bother people on the other organizing committees.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with like the Python community in Europe, and like so many different people are so enthusiastic about Python.
It's nice. I like that there are so many people coming from all over the world, like you from the States, people from Australia, India, Russia. It's really nice.
Yeah, I mean, any excuse to come out to Florence is a good excuse in my book.
That's good.
So I wouldn't be mad if this kept happening in Florence. Yeah, thanks so much for talking with me. It was fun.
Thank you for asking me to participate in this. It's
cool.
My first podcast.
Cool, yeah. Well, you're welcome anytime.
Thank you.
Follow us now on Twitter at Radio Free Rabbit so we can keep the conversation going. Like what you hear? Give us a 5-star review and help developers just like you find their way into the rabbit hole. And never miss an episode. Subscribe now however you listen to your favorite podcast. On behalf of our producer extraordinaire, William Jeffries, and my amazing co-host, Dave Anderson, and me, your host, Michael Nunez, thanks for listening to The Rabbit Hole.